This video will be useful to you if you are new to Python and want to have a project which uses Python in a pragmatic way. For example, here is what the project does. You have a React site with interactive flashcards. You click them and they open. You can type in new flashcards in a text file very easily. 3 lines per flashcard. You run a Python script and the data from the text file is converted into JSON and it automatically appears on the website. So that's the idea. Basically, what we're doing is creating CLI commands. Like if you have used Angular, you can use this ng command to create a component. So my idea of making this is to extend this as a site that has a number of these CLI commands to make development of a React site much faster by using Python in the background. So yeah, this is what we're going to build. And yeah, here's some more information. This how-to is available to you. I'll have the link in the show notes. And the code is here. Let's check. Right, so if you are building along and want to see how it's done as the finished site, then you can check there. Yeah, and the video will be posted here when it's finished. So let's get started. You have to install Python. By the way, I've checked this on Ubuntu and Windows. It works on both. So you just have to have Python installed. On my Ubuntu, I have to type Python 3 instead of Python, so you might want to watch that. But in any case, all you have to do is install Python and you'll be up and running. I happen to have 3.12, so anything 3 point something should be fine. And we're going to create a React site from a template. So go ahead and click there. And if you are logged in to GitHub, you will have this button here called Use This Template. So click that, create a new repository, and then give it a name which will create a repository in your GitHub account. So let's call this flashcards English test, English keyboard, flashcards, and then some kind of number. Because let's say we're building a flashcard site. And create repository. This will run for a couple seconds and create a repository for you based on that template, which is a very nice way, much easier than, or more appropriate than forking if you're just creating a new project. So now we have this repository and I can clone it. Let's go to a terminal. I need some directory. Let's say here is good enough. I'll put it in a temp. And let's open a terminal here. This is, I'm on Windows, but this is Hyper, and it is a bash terminal. So very similar if you are on Ubuntu. So let's see what we have in here. A couple projects, and we can do the git clone and clone it. Yes. So now we can enter it. I'm going to use the Trae editor, which is VSCode clone with AI. It's free, so basically cursor, but free. And I haven't found any problems with it. I really like it. So I can recommend it. And then type the name of your site. I had another flashcard site there. That's why I had to type tab again, and then it opens in Trae. If you haven't used Trae before, it's very VSCode-like with an AI window here. So then let's open up our terminal. When you use Trae, you have to wait just a little bit because it opens, well, at least on Windows, it opens a WSL, script or program here that has to run, which powers the AI. So we're going to go into a bash here and of course do the npm install because this is a React site. And this React site might be interesting for you because it has a bit more than just a simple React site. It has, let me just show you where to look here. Look in store and you will see a setup for Easy Peasy, which is a kind of Redux, simplified Redux. Also it uses Zod. So flashcard model. This is easy peasy, so you have state, actions, and thunks defined here as the interface, and then you have them implemented here. So I also have a data model which loads the JSON file which has all the flashcards. Let's take a look at that here. And then checks or validates the data with Zod. Zod you will find here in types. So I don't create my TypeScript types directly, but inherit them or infer them from Zod schemas. So this is two maybe new things if you aren't familiar with Easy Peasy or Zod, but a very nice way to make sure that data that enters your application is clean and validated. So otherwise it's a basic Vite React site. And meanwhile we have npm installed, and we are going to perhaps change the port because I have a number of things running here and I might have the same port. So I'm just going to change two numbers here, and we have a different port, and we will do npm run dev, which will start the site, which will show us a website with the flashcards that are interactive in that you can click them. And I have this here, a number of times an answer was shown to demonstrate 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, etc., which demonstrates easy peasy. You can look into that if you like. But this video is mostly about setting up Python so you can use it in the background. One note here, we're using, in the background, not really in the back end, because we're using Python not as a back-end API, but as a back-end or background CLI. That up front. So let's go back to our how-to, which is here. And we now have our Vite site created, Vite React. And let's set up our script directory, which will contain our Python scripts. So if we go here to, let me just close everything. If we go here to new folder, we have scripts now. And in the bash shell, go to the scripts directory. Let's do this here, open an integrated terminal. So there we have it. Now, with Python, what you want to do is create a virtual directory. A virtual directory will enable you to use packages or install packages without installing them globally on your machine. And you can basically think of this, a virtual directory in Python, as npm for node. So the way you do this is you go to the directory in which you will have all of your Python scripts, and you type python -m venv. I always venv and env. You can look that up, but this is boilerplate, and enter. And what will happen is it will create this env file, directory with a number of files in it. You don't really need to know what they are. This will just take care, this will give you npm functionality in Python. One can think of it like that. So we have those files. Yes, npm Python. Now, and this, let me change this. This should be add this env directory. Let me change that. 1 second, please. Yeah. So, 1 second, please. Yeah. We want to not have this env directory in our, where is our, oh, okay. Yeah. We don't want this env directory in our repository because there are thousands of files in this env directory. So we want to ignore it in our git ignore. Just like this. I believe that's all you have to do. Yeah. So now we only have 2 changes. Package JSON, what was actually changed there? Ah, yeah, we changed the port and we changed git ignore. Super. So now we have our first commit. Port and env. And go ahead and push it. All right. Super. So now we have our virtual directory and we have pushed our changes. Env is not included, which is right. And now we want to create these 2 files, which are going to be the scripts or the commands that we can execute in our project. And as an example, I have create page because that's something I'm going to build into my data pod for React Python. And parse data, which will parse the data from a text file into the JSON file, which we will do in this video. So create these 2 here. Create page py, and that would be under scripts. So new file, create page py, there we are, and create, oops, this is some kind of Python helper that I installed, and for each project I need to set it to work. we'll do that. So new file, what else did we have here? Parse data like this. Very nice. So now we have our two Python scripts. And the reason why I have two is because we're going to have some functions in a utils directory, and I want to show how both of these scripts use the same functions, because that will set up a nice environment to make pretty much any kind of sophisticated or numerous commands that use the same library. All right, so let's just do some mock kind of hello world functionality here. Create page will be here. So we just want to say print. This will create a new page in the app. So print classic Python simplicity. And for parse data, we will say this will parse the data, and also Python simplicity, one line. In package JSON, we need to make npm scripts. We could, of course, start these scripts by going into the scripts directory and typing Python create page, etc. But a nice combination is to use npm commands. So you just have to say run npm cp for create page, for instance, and you can run it anywhere. It's very nice. So let's do that in package JSON. Here we have our dev, which started our site. And now we're going to make a cp command. I'll type the first one here. So that will be npm run cp. And what we're going to do is first change into scripts. So yeah, I'm assuming that we're in the root directory, but it works just fine. One usually is in the root directory. So change to scripts, and then the next command is going to be Python, and then the name of the Python script. So Python create page py. And there we have it. So this should work if I just say, okay, I'm in scripts now, so I'm going to, let's see, let's get to the right one. This one is running this terminal is running our site. This terminal is, there we are. I'm going to just kill this terminal and show when you go into, control backtick. Why doesn't that go into a terminal? Oh, so that just turns it off and on. That's right. Oh yeah, right. Okay, sorry. Forgot. You have to create a new terminal, and then so when you create a new terminal here, click. You are in the root directory, and then you just say npm run cp, enter, and it will run that script. This will create a new page in the app. There we go. Our Python script is working. So let's make an npm script for parse data as well. Let's go into package JSON and parse data, cd scripts, and yeah, AI is pretty close here, but we want to say parse data. Exactly. So now if we run npm run pd, it should be running that script as well. Yes. And that is worth a commit. So npm mock scripts work. All right. Very good. Let's go back to our how-to, and we see that we have completed step 1. Now we're on step 2. Start React site and create text flashcard file. So we have already created or started our React site. It's here. It's already running. Super. And if we go back here and we see, yeah, you can see how it reads flashcards JSON to produce this file. What we're going to do is create a text file, which then is converted with a Python script into the JSON file. And yeah, that's the point. So what I'm going to do here is put the JSON file into a directory called parsed data, which will be read-only data, and we won't touch that. We'll only change the text file. That's the idea. So let's do that. Data becomes parsed data. Parsed data. Bam. Yep. So the site should not work now because it can't find data flashcards. So let's just search for data flashcards. There it is. And we'll change that to parsed data flashcards. So that should work. And voila, it does work. Great. Change to data. Yeah. Okay. So now we are going to create data, a data directory, and a file inside of it called flashcards.txt, and with this content. So let me copy that. Data flashcards. So let's close all of this. And data right here. New file of note. Data slash flashcards txt. There we go. It created data and the flashcards txt file. And now we can copy that in. So we want this to be right aligned here. There we go. All right. And that completes step 2. We will now program the parse data script so that it parses the text file flashcard objects and then overwrites the flashcard JSON file. So, yeah, text file. All right. So, what we're going to do now is we have these two scripts, and they're both going to use a library of functions. And so for this video, we're going to have a debug group and a files group. In files group will be, for instance, reading the data from the text file and also writing it to the JSON file. And debug is just another one to show you how you can have numerous files, kind of organize all of your functions. And interestingly, I did this video, this how-to for Go as well, and these directories are organized a bit differently with Go. But with Python, I found that Python seems to, by default, expect that any libraries that you have are in a directory below the script that is run. So that's why I have it like this. It works well. So let's go ahead and create utils directory and debug py. Let's go here, not in data, but in scripts. Exactly. New file of note. So utils and then debug py. So there we have the directory and the file. And then I will say new file and files py. So these two files we want to create. Let's do debug first. So here we have a function in Python, if you're new to Python, looking a lot like any other language, really. I guess that's define function, the name of the function, line. This is kind of optional like in Python, but why not? It's kind of quasi-typing, but I use it. And then here you print. This is kind of like the, what is it called in JavaScript? String, you know, with the curly brackets and $sign, etc. Yeah. So that what this does is it enables you to just say devlog, a text, and then you have all of your log commands that look the same. So let's just copy this, take it to debug.py, and paste that thing in here. There we go. Left, and there we have it. And now we want to use it. So we'll do this in a minute. What we want to do here is in create page, for instance, this is the script that we aren't going to complete. We're just going to say, we're just going to use debug. So the way you import it is import and then the name of the directory, dot, the name of the file without the py, and then as, and then I just use these as the same name. And then debug dot, and you can fill it in. So let's do that. Create page. We have import utils.debug. So utils.debug in files. It's looking into the directory, which is nice. As debug, it knows what we're going to do. That's the AI from Trae. And then debug. If we type debug now, we get all of the functions that are in that file, which is very nice when you develop a nice developer experience. So you can just do tab there, and we say this will create a page. So now when we run this, npm run create page, we will see that it uses that function. All right. Yeah, it's quite nice. Enables you to have any number of functions in any number of files and keep your code quite organized. Alrighty, so that's working. Did I devlog? Here, I'm going to do this 1 second. Okay, so that's something that I forgot here, is this, which will show you how to get nice and custom IntelliSense in your projects. Oops, not there, but here. So when we go to debug, right, so we add a comment for the function here, like this. And of course it has to be tabbed over. Tabs very important in Python. So I have here what the function does, and then a space and an example. Yeah, or 2 examples basically. So what does that do for us? First of all, when we're looking at the functions, we can read the comment on what the function does, but also when we're using the function like this, let's say we're just typing this along, log like this, and then I go like this, and look what pops up, our text, which is very nice. So right when you're going to use the function, you get a little help text of how to use it, which is nice. So this will create a page like that, and that all works very nicely. So debug finished, and let's do the next oops, this here. So now we want to, in files, make a function that gets lines from a file. Let's just go through this a bit, and then I'll copy paste it in. A file name string, again optional, but why not? It makes your code clearer. And it's going to return a list, which in Python is like an array, of strings. So here is our documentation, our comment, which will pop up when we use this. And then we're going to do a try catch or a try except in Python. We're going to open the file name, read it with this encoding as F. Contents is what comes out of F, read the file. Makes sense here. Except if anything happens unexpectedly, then print an error. Otherwise, we have lines, which will be, this is a nice compact statement. Strip is basically trim for line in contents and split on new line. So it splits on the new line and just brings everything into a array of strings, or a list of strings. So there you have it. Let's copy this, and we're importing OS, which is used for here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, let's paste it in here. We'll see it. So here we have files, yes, and paste it in. Very nice. This should be to the left. So what is this? Oh, actually, we're not using it. All right. That was from something else. Okay, let's see if that works then. We took OS out, and now let's use it. The way we're going to use it is here, where we say we're going to use this debug. So we import debug from utils debug, we import files from utils files, use debug, and then we're going to use the lines here. So this is basically all known. Let's go here to parse data, get rid of this, type in that. So this is going to be get lines from file. So I'm showing that we can use debug from this script and from this script. That's the point of this. So now we're going to do the actual work here. Lines equals and then files, and this will pop this up. Lines equals and files. Yeah, it pretty much knows what we're doing here. Equals exactly files dot and get lines from file. Yes, I open it, and there we have our little documentation again, which is nice. So we want to go, this is always relative, so go back one and then go into data and flashcards.text. So go back one and then go into data and flashcards.text. Exactly. So after we have lines, in Python we can do a for loop for index. You get index and line going here when you enumerate lines, stepping by one, I think, and then we're going to print it. So for I line and enumerate, and then print, and this is going to be yeah, this prints out the index and then the line. Let's just copy that and see what it does. So when we run this now, parse data npm run parse data, bam, we get all of the lines of the file. Isn't that nice? And this here is the padded index number. And 1 here is the starting number for the index, which is nice. That's why this is 1. So there we have it. Files works. Okay. So next step, I believe, yes, we executed that and it did work. Yeah, here, you may have a PyCache directory popping up, yes, in the utils. So that, I think I have this somehow being ignored globally. But if you want to ignore it explicitly, then go ahead and type in this __, which is, there's a name for that, dunder, which stands for double underscore. Here. Dunder PyCache dunder / and that will go in the env. No, git ignore, sorry. Yes. Yeah, so notice that this is white here. Although it's already being ignored. Anyway, that might not be the case for you, and if you put that in your git ignore, then it should ignore it in any case. Okay, this should be gray as well. Maybe it'll turn gray later. Anyway, the main thing is that it's ignored. And then we have here step 4. Super. So step 4 is just a bit more programming. What that's going to do is, yeah, the goal of this video, and that is to parse this text file into the JSON file. So we need to generate these short UUIDs, as I call them. That's kind of something from Datapod, where each item has a unique identifier, but not that long, something that you can almost remember, 6 letters and numbers, and definitely easy to type. If you're looking at one, you can type it in, that kind of thing, or type it into a URL. It's just a good idea. And so let's, yeah, this is kind of general, so I'm going to make a new file as an example of, yeah, showing that one can make as many groups of functions as one wants. New file, general, py, and so this is going to be a character that will look, or a string that will look like this. One second, my keyboard isn't working. So now my keyboard is working, and we will now I needed to, exactly, I wanted to show the JSON file here. So instead of having an ID, I have this short UUID. That's what I meant. And that's a kind of concept in Datapod, where Datapods have shared data quite a bit. You should be able to copy your items from one Datapod to the other without any problem. And if they have IDs like 1, 2, 3, and you add them to another Datapod, which also has items with 1, 2, 3 as IDs, then you're going to run into problems, because the IDs won't be unique. But if you use SUUIDs, that works out well. It's a nice compromise. So we want to be able to create this. And this function does it. Let's copy it in and then we'll talk about it. So general py, paste it in. Here's the documentation. The character set is all of the letters, uppercase and lowercase, plus all of the digits. These are nice little constants in Python. So we have uppercase AZ, lowercase AZ 09. The length is going to be 6, and this then chooses a random character or number from this character set, and this is shorthand for doing that length amount of times. Works very well, and then join them together. So let's just test this out. Files. So it returns lines, not files, sorry, parse data. And so let's use this. To be able to use the general functions, you have to import them in utils general as general. So, and then general dot generate yes, and say SUUID equals, and then print SUUID exactly. So let's see what it prints out. It prints out a random SUUID, V50, V0. Run it again and it'll be another random one. So that's exactly what we need. So SUUID in, and now we need to basically rewrite this whole main.py. Yeah, it's a complete rewrite. What we'll do here is we'll copy it all, and then we will look at the code and understand it. So this is going to be for parse data. So all of this will be replaced. So just copy that in and put that over. Everything is tabs, very nice. So here we have everything imported. We're using a class. I call it flashcards. So this is the constructor. You send this in and it just basically builds a this is basically just like a struct in Go. So we get the lines as we did before from the text file, and we get ready by defining a list, which is an array in Python called flashcards, and yeah, what it's doing here is going through the lines, all of the lines that we have, 4 lines at a time. So starting at 0, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 8, etc. And then it gets the 3 lines, so it's basically close others, get the txt file here. So it's basically here at 0, and it gets this line, this line, this line, and then actually yeah, moves up to 5, etc. Anyway, it works. So you're going through like basically 4 lines at a time, right? Getting the 3 lines that we need, and then creating a flashcard object based on the flashcard, which is of type flashcard class. The SUUID is automatically generated, which we just built, and then categories, category, fronts, fronts, backs, back. And then we append the flashcard to the flashcards list. Dict converts this instance of a flashcard class into a dictionary, which dictionary in Python is an object in JavaScript. Yeah, so then we have basically as you would say in JavaScript, an array of objects. In Python, we have a list of dictionaries. Same thing. And then we're going to try to create the JSON file. So the JSON data is this list of dictionaries indented 4 spaces and dumped into a JSON construct, so to say. Then we're going to use this JSON construct, JSON data. We're going to write it to the JSON file, which is this file here in parsed data, which, so this is how to find your shell. This is all tech flashcards, and we're going to overwrite them with language flashcards here. We'll see if that works. Yeah, if it does work, it'll say successfully updated flashcards. And if it doesn't work, then it'll give us the error. Yeah, so I don't see why that wouldn't work. Let's try it. npm run pd. Let's get this live here. This is the text. This is the JSON. So here it says Linux and run it. And now, yeah, it says IT for Italian. So it has successfully taken the flashcard text, and it will take some time, and created the JSON. So, and these we can just leave because, I mean, this is a special character in Italian, yeah, accent grave, I think. Right, and so we just leave them because this is basically read-only data because it's always being generated. And yeah, that's it. So if we go to the site, excuse me, we have here info site. Yeah, it's already working. Isn't that super? Great. So let's yeah, finished. Now Stunde der Wahrheit here. Let's go to flashcards and create a new flashcard. So let's say French. That is great. C'est bon. So we have here 4 flashcards. I run the script, and we have, wait for it, 5 flashcards. So that's kind of the idea of this, that you can make scripts that you can run which do magic, basically. Just automatically convert data. You could have it go get data from APIs. You could use AI or LLMs to do something. And then this website is ready to be published to Vercel. All you have to do is push it to your GitHub account and connect your GitHub account to a Vercel site, and yeah, very useful. Then you have a super safe site which is read-only on Vercel, and you can edit it by just changing a text file. That's the idea. So that brings us to the end, I would say. Let's see if there are any notes. Yeah, this is how it works. It's working, and yeah, I hope this how-to got you working with Python in a pragmatic way, creating scripts that help speed up your development. That's all for now.